Hi, I'm Lise Leblanc, therapist, author, and life coach, and I work with men from all around the world who are trying to make sense of the emotional chaos and trying to recalibrate their nervous system after a relationship with a woman who has borderline personality disorder, or BPD for short. So if you're struggling to let go of someone who hurt you, confused you, blamed you, and repeatedly pulled you in only to push you away, then the story I'm about to share will probably sound painfully familiar. So here's Jake's story. And obviously, I changed some details to protect his identity, but here's essentially what he said. I spent a little over a year involved with a woman with borderline personality disorder, untreated but diagnosed. And in the beginning, it felt like we had something so deep, so special, and so real. Constant connection, vulnerable late night talks, incredible physical intimacy. And it felt like I was finally seen and getting everything I needed as a man. It's this intense emotional fusion early on in the relationship. It feels like love, but what you're experiencing is a combination of idealization and emotional mirroring. She's seeing all the good in you and reflecting back your best traits, your values, and validating your needs, your pain, your vision for your future. And for a moment, it feels like a lock and key just fitting together perfectly. But underneath this incredible sense of connection and intimacy is an unstable sense of identity. The moment her fear of abandonment is triggered, suddenly you become the bad guy, the one who is hurting her, betraying her, trying to control her, even if all you're doing is asking for honest conversation and trying to set healthy boundaries. Okay, so let's keep going with Jake's story. So, for the first 2 months of our relationship, I had no idea there was another guy. But after falling deeply in love with her, I found out she had a boyfriend all along who was working out of the country for the summer. So, just before he got back, she confessed everything, saying that she didn't realize she was going to fall so deeply in love with me. And she apologized profusely, begging me for forgiveness, saying that her boyfriend was abusive, that she was afraid of him, and that I was the one she wanted to be with. Notice how there's no accountability here. It's not about her admitting to lying and cheating. It's just that she didn't realize it would happen or hurt anyone. People with untreated BPD often act on impulse when their emotions are flooding them. But instead of taking ownerships for their impulsive actions, they often frame it as if they're the victim. So even though they might apologize, they're not actually taking accountability for their choices and the consequences of those choices. Instead, she makes it about her feelings, her fears, her abuse. And ultimately, you get hurt and end up comforting her through the pain she's causing you. And that's the moment when the trauma bond deepens because you're not just in love with her now and emotionally invested. Now you're trying to save her, trying to protect her. Okay, so let's continue. When I told her how much pain she was causing me, she got furious, accused me of not caring that she was being abused by her boyfriend, saying I was abandoning her when she needed me the most, and saying other horrible things. Then she walked out, and somehow I was the one left feeling like the bad guy. So, this is another trait often seen in people with untreated BPD, and that's splitting. So, splitting is a defense mechanism where people are seen as either all good or all bad, and those roles can flip flop in the blink of an eye. So, one moment when she feels threatened, misunderstood, or emotionally exposed, her brain shifts into survival mode, and suddenly you're no longer her hero. Now you're the enemy, and you will feel like you have to defend your integrity and prove that you're not like all the other horrible guys who've hurt her. So then Jake said that when he tried to end the relationship, she begged him not to. He said, I was so emotionally attached to her by then. Even though I kept telling myself that I needed to walk away, I couldn't. Every time she'd come back looking for comfort, connection, support, and of course, offering sex, I just couldn't say no. She'd tell me she couldn't live without me, that I was her favorite person. And yet, still, she wasn't ending it with her boyfriend, despite continuing to promise that she would. But every time they had a fight, she'd come running back to me. She'd show up crying, begging me not to give up on her. And I couldn't. My feelings were just so strong. And I felt this intense sense of guilt and obligation to protect her, even though she was hurting me. This is the classic push pull cycle. When a woman with untreated BPD feels abandoned, she may reach out with overwhelming emotional intensity, and she's not faking those emotions in the moment. But once the emotional dysregulation settles, she might flip into cold withdrawal or rage. So she might cling to you, then push you away, beg you for safety, then attack you when she feels threatened. So she would tell me that I was the only person she felt safe with, but then she'd ghost me. It was clear that I wasn't her priority. I was always the backup plan that gave her a sense of security when her plan A was failing. I kept waiting for her to choose me, hoping that if she could finally break up with her abusive boyfriend, we could have a future together. But as time went on and I dealt with more and more of her emotional blackmail and manipulations, I started realizing her boyfriend was also being manipulated. Maybe he was abusive, but maybe he wasn't. I'll never know. But what I do know is that she was lying to him just like she was lying to me. And she was cheating on him with me and maybe with others too. And suddenly it hit me. I wasn't the exception. I was just another man being pulled into her emotional chaos while she played the victim to both of us, keeping us both on the hook for protecting and saving her. Now I just feel exhausted and ashamed. Ashamed that after everything I've been through, everything I know, part of me still hopes she'll message me, that she'll come back, this time for good, still clinging to the idea that maybe there's a chance for a future together, even though another part of me knows that I'm being completely delusional. It's just that what we had still feels so real. And that's one of the most confusing and devastating aspects of being in a relationship with someone who has untreated BPD. The emotions are raw, they are real, and it's intense. But their emotions and their reality are not stable. So when that truth and reality shifts from one moment to the next, your nervous system gets stuck in a loop of confusion and it doesn't know how to escape. So, if this story felt familiar to you, if you saw yourself in Jake's situation, I would strongly suggest reaching out to a therapist who understands trauma bonding and personality disorders. And if you're looking for a step by step guide out of this confusion, please check out my toxic relationship recovery program that I linked below. Thanks so much for watching, and to learn more about breaking a trauma bond, please click on the link above.